Robstar gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. What's up, Panther Nation? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell because we're about to dive deep into some real talk. I might even open up the panel tonight for you guys. It's a Monday evening. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter. God bless everybody for this past Sunday. He has risen. But hey, happy Easter if I didn't get to say it to you, each and every one of you guys. I hope everyone had a blessed Easter Sunday. But we're about to dive deep into some real talk. Now, if you've been following the Carolina Panthers in recent years, you know it's been a hell of a roller coaster, right? Like 1 minute we're rebuilding, next minute we're still rebuilding. So, but now here we are. We're just days away from the NFL 2025 NFL draft. And let me tell you, Dan Morgan has to hit on this draft. And it really depends on our season and this rebuild that we're going through. Because guess what? And excuse my language, but it fucking does. All right. Now in this video or this live stream, we're going to talk about the biggest needs that I think that this is the final game plan, right? This is the final game plan. This is the final game plan as to what we need to do. Okay. In my opinion, in my humble opinion. Now, trust me, you're going to want to, I think you guys are going to want to hear this. Grab a drink, settle in. Let's break it down piece by piece. Okay. And this is just my final touch up on really what I think they need to do. Here's my opinion. And then we'll dive into some other stuff. And I'm also going to do my final mock draft this week, probably tomorrow. I'll probably do my final mock draft tomorrow night because it's my final one. Done. I know that we're 2 days away. I'm not going to do another one tonight. I'm not going to do another one Wednesday. Final one is going to be tomorrow. Okay. And then on Wednesday, I got a special episode coming out to you guys, a special live stream. I think you guys are going to enjoy. And I think also Thursday night, of course, if you guys tune in, make sure you tune in Thursday night. Going to give you a watch party, ladies and gentlemen, live reaction to the NFL draft. Will Carolina Panthers stay at 8? Will they move up? Will they trade down? Only time will tell. So, again, appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure y'all guys jump in the chat. Love to hear your thoughts as we go out throughout tonight. Possibly we'll open up the the stream to you guys. Obviously, maybe I might start doing that a little bit more. Open up the stream to you guys a little bit. If people are interested. So, also become a member today. Super easy. You've got different types of memberships here at the Rockstar Report. You got memberships for 99 cents a month, all the way up to $4.99 a month. Okay, so you can choose which tier you want to be in. All right, and that's right there. Join this channel, access the perks. That's the link right there. Feel free to join that. If you're really feeling froggy, if you're really feeling generous and want to donate to the channel, you can shoot me a Venmo. That is in the description of this live stream, or Cash App. All right. We also are going to. You can send a super chat, and we do have a live goal tonight of 15 super chats. We're gonna do, and it's just really to help and support the channel. Help and support the channel to keep going, because StreamYard's not cheap. It's like $100 a month. PFF is not cheap. That's $99 a month. NFL Network is like $11.99 a month. For every plus all the film that I get, that's another $5 a month. What else? It's a lot of subscriptions. So help support the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. It all goes towards the channel anyways. It all goes towards the channel. Clay, is there a rumor going around that moving up in the draft for Carter? Possibility. There's definitely a possibility. I've heard it. I'm not too sure if that's really correct. You know, I'm not really sure if that is correct or not. Again, do I know that they're going to do that? No. Do I believe they're going to do that? I don't think it's a smart move. Because when we look at it from this standpoint, right? So I'm going to pull up a screen here. Let me see here. I'm going to pull up. I'm trying to pull up the roster right now. Lomax, you haven't missed anything. We just gotten getting started, buddy. You're all good, my friend. You are all good. People, Popel's rookie. Hey, bud. What's up, man? Appreciate you joining. All right. So let me pull this up. So we got this. So we got the roster. So if we're talking about the biggest needs, right? If we're going through this roster right now, I love how Hourlades does it because they got like newcomer, injured, and franchise tagged. I love that they did that. All right, first things first. Before we get into this, because we're going into the biggest needs. Okay. The first things first, and I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with the things that I feel that the first thing that I'm going to kick off with is the biggest need I think possible. When I look at this roster, and I was looking at it the other day, it's outside linebacker / edge rusher. Okay. That's the biggest need. And the reason why I say that is, look, we all saw this Panthers defense last season, right? We all saw it. Dead last and pressure rate at 16.2%. That was not just bad. Remember, it was historically awful for us. Again, I mean, you could probably count the number of quarterbacks the Panthers actually touched last season on one hand. 32 sacks, which was the third fewest in the entire league. So how does a team with a top-tier cornerback like J.C. Horn and a solid defense look this bad? Now, granted, injuries, huge issue. Okay? Derek Brown out. You lose Shaq Thompson, who's a vocal leader on that defense. Okay? I get it. But the issue is, the real issue is that no one could get to the quarterback. And with the NFC South always throwing the ball, nobody, like it's nobody, like we're always throwing the ball around like it's nobody's business in the NFC South, man. The Panthers need to do more than just have solid players. They need someone who can be a game changer on that edge. Now, they picked up Pat Jones the second. Okay, great. From free agency. Solid guy. I think he's got some upside. Don't get me wrong, but come on. The guy can't be your only hope at the edge rusher. You can't go into 2025 with him being your main guy. Nor can you do that with DJ Wonnum or Jadeveon Clowney. Because here's another thing. You've got Jadeveon Clowney and Wonnum both whom are on expiring contracts, ladies and gentlemen. So not only are you not guaranteed production from them in 2025, you're also looking at the future problem if you don't hit this position in the draft. Carolina needs an edge rusher who can be a true difference maker for years to come. Not just getting another guy who gets, who gets a few, one set of sacks, every few games, or gets one sack every few games. They need someone who can collapse that pocket, make the quarterback fear for their lives. You need Myles Garrett type shit, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need. Yeah, but Trap, if that offense was on the field more often than the defense, if that defense could get that opposing offense off the field more often for them to go out there and actually make some plays, you ever thought about that maybe? Have you ever thought about maybe if our defense could possibly, I don't know, get the offense back on the field quicker, that maybe we would have more opportunities to score and more opportunities not to go three and out over and over again? You ever thought about that maybe? Because I mean, with you, I see you comment all the time. It's like, but our offense. I get it. Our offense, sure, it needed some more production. But as time got on, what happened with Bryce? Time got on, it got better. Time got on, we were not going three and out over and over again. Did you watch the last 12 weeks of the season? So you're telling me that this offense is more important than the defense? That was dead last and historically the worst defense in NFL history from every side to the world to the other? Jesse, I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. You want to trade for a guy that's not even going to play in the NFL for till when? What? It's not like you're trading Myles Garrett in his prime. He's about to be what, 30 years old? Maybe plays for another 4 or 5 years. But how much of that production is going to be an elite production? Sooner or later, Father Time is going to hit with him. I just don't. I get it, but at the same time, I don't. I like where your mindset is at. Don't get me wrong. But our draft picks are more important. I'd rather develop talent. I'd rather go and get my outside linebacker and edge who can give me that Myles Garrett type shit. That's what I'm talking about, Jesse. Because this year's edge rushing class, if we look about it, it's loaded with talent. Okay. I think it's loaded with talent, but I was talking to a friend on Instagram. He was telling me the big board, showing me the top 10 picks for Carolina that they think is the top 10 picks. I don't even know if I should show you guys that. But again, you're basing this when we look at this edge rushing class, man. I'll say this. I think that this edge rushing class is very interesting to me because you got Abdul Carter. First off, you got Abdul Carter. Wild. He's raw, athletic. Is he a top overall pick? He's got flaws too. Is he the next Micah Parsons? That's soon to be seen. He could end up coming out and shit in the bed, ladies and gentlemen. But he's also the only guy I see in this draft class with elite traits, elite production. Right? And then when you go look at these other guys, like when you talk about you got that front seven guys, like you're talking about Jalen Walker, you got Shamar Stewart, Michael Williams. I'm just throwing names out there, by the way, guys. who all those guys have the upside, but need time. Jalen Walker might be the perfect fit, but sometimes right now in this situation for the Carolina Panthers, we really don't have time. I think Mason Graham, for example, solid plug and play. Um, I think there's a lot of logic there to go after him. But if he's not there, I know another guy that's a plug and play, and that's Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. But nobody seems to see that. But I guess me, from a Carolina Panthers fan standpoint, T Mac Golden, bring some wide receiver juice. I get it at 8. You still lack that wide receiver 1. I'm not a T Mac fan. I'm more of a Emeka Ibuka or Luther Burden. Me personally, I like those guys better than Golden and T Mac. I think they're better fits. Tyler Warren, I think he is an intriguing prospect. I think he would open up the middle of the field from a tight end standpoint. He'd be a big red zone threat. Could use him almost like a Taysom Hill. Be very creative in the offense. But at the end, is he really worth the pick at 8? Not really. If you really want someone who has had massive production and just you forget about the off the field issues and forget about that he played at the University of Marshall, Mike Green's your guy. But overall, when you look at the guys that Carolina is looking at, you look at their big board, a lot of their board screams to me raw traits, but basically for their top 10 big board. If you've seen it, it's raw traits over proven production. It's risky, and that is risky for a team that needs starters right now. That is what it is. Jesse, don't do that, and don't play like that either. I hate it. I'm not a big fan of like saying I'm gonna, those kinds of thoughts, man. I know you're just kidding, but I'm just not a fan of those stuff. I do love he's a dog. Exactly. Exactly. So again, loaded with talent. I mean, if you, I'll be surprised if Carolina doesn't find someone who can play immediately. They're going to keep getting steamrolled by opposing offenses. There's no excuse here. You need to go top edge rusher with your first pick. I don't even care even if they trade back, move up, whatever, stay at 8. It's simple as that. You need a top tier edge rusher. Now, again, if their guy doesn't fall there, like I said, you can get a T Mac. You can go after one of the wide receivers, sure. I just think Walter Nolan or Mason Graham, who are guys that are already plug and plays guys. I think that's where you got to, if Abdul Carter doesn't fall, all that good stuff. Like, I just think I really do. I just think it's Mason Graham. All right, you can hear me now. We should be good. We should be good. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Don't know what happened there. That was weird. That was very weird. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened there. So my bad, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. For some reason, it was just like, I'm gonna mute you. So, anyways, yeah, I just think Ed again. At the end of the day, I think the number one thing here is that it's edge rush for me. Now, again, the most when I say the most logical sense does make sense for you know those guys like Nolan and man, I can move pretty quickly with some tech, man. I can move pretty quickly with some tech. I don't know really what was the cause of it, but I can fix it. That's for sure. Um, but again, yeah, I think the biggest need number one is edge rusher. All right. When I look at this now, number two, let's go in this because next on the list for me is safety. Right. This one's a bit of a mess. Right. You picked up Trayvon Moehrig. That's great from the Raiders free agency. Right. Which was a smart move for sure. All right. I think it was a very smart move. I mean, and think about Trayvon Moehrig. Dude can hit hard. He's got all the range, right? He's got the experience. But here's the thing, okay? Here's the problem. Outside of Moehrig, you've got Nick Scott and you've got Damani Richardson. And folks, I don't care how optimistic you are that the depth just doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it. This is the NFL. This is not a charity event. Your safeties cannot be an afterthought. Last season, okay, the Panthers were one of the worst teams in the league when it came to takeaways. You want to know why? Because their safeties weren't making plays. Moehrig could be fine at strong safety. But Carolina desperately needs a playmaker, free safety, a ball hawk, someone who can, actually read the quarterback's eyes, jump the route, take the ball away. Because in the modern NFL, the modern NFL, you're not going to win games without someone who can create these turnovers. And it's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that simple. And don't even start with, because I've seen people say, oh, well, maybe Scott or Richardson will step up. I like Damani Richardson. Don't get me wrong. Young, talented, undrafted free agent. We saw some promise with him last season, but we saw how last year worked out for us. And spoiler alert, if you don't remember, it really didn't work out for us. Right? So if Carolina wants to turn things around on this defense, they need a safety who can cover deep, and not get burnt. Get a guy who can make a difference. End of story. Guys I like, and you can get them in different rounds. And we talked about it last week. I can see you getting Nick. If you trade down, maybe you get Nick Amanawari in the first. Trade down with Pittsburgh. I can see you taking him there at 21. Okay. If not in the second round, Kevin Winston has now moved up towards the second round, junior out of Penn State. Third round, I could see you getting Andrew Mukuba, which I think has been a fan favorite around Carolina Panthers fans. I've seen a lot. When we talk about edge rushers, though, in that first pick, Jalen Walker, he's kind of that tweener. I don't like the label, but everybody uses it on him. First round pick, edge rushers. You got Abdul Carter, Jalen Walker, Michael Williams, Mike Green, JPJ. Right? Just to name a few. But let's go into the next position of need. Okay? Let's get into the wide receiver situation. Let's get into it. Hold on. I also got to get to a super chat real quick. Kendall, let me get to your super chat real quick. Kendall comes in and says, keep seeing rumors of trading Thielen to Philly. Shout out to Kendall, by the way, coming in with that $199 donation. It appreciate you. Every dollar, by the way, goes back to the channel, man. So I really appreciate you doing that. So this $2 will definitely helps. Every dollar counts, man. Every dollar counts. So it definitely helps. So shout out to you. I appreciate you hitting me with that $199 donation, Kendall. And yes, I've seen those rumors too. I don't think it's happening. Now, if they want to throw in Jahan Dotson in that trade, I would trade Thielen, and hear me out. I would trade Thielen for a 6th-round pick and Jahan Dotson. So they give me a 6th-round pick and Jahan Dotson. You can have Adam Thielen. I don't think that's number one. I don't think it's realistic. Not realistic. Number two, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. But shout out to you, Kendall. I appreciate you with that $199 donation. Really appreciate that, brother. Shout out to you, Kendall. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. I love Billy Bowman. The second I will die on that hill. I like him too. Little undersized. Like his skill set, though. Sup, Clay? Finally have my top 3 for our pick. I'm happy with Shamar Stewart, Mike Green, and Emeka Egbuka. Dang. You must have been copying me. You must have been copying me. You must have been copying me. Did I influence you on that Shamar Stewart ordeal, McMillan? Mike Green, though, I think a lot of people need to understand that these guys, with the whole Mike Green situation, need to understand that the production that he put out in Marshall. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, you want to go watch someone going up against, played at Marshall, went up against. Sorry for repeating the super chat. Oh, you're good, Jesse. No, I'm going to get to your super chat. I mean, I don't care if you repeat. You sent forward $5 basically. I appreciate that, man. It goes a long way, brother. You can repeat and say the same damn thing 500 times if you sent that. I don't care. But Shamar Stewart, measurables, remember, matches up to, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, matches up to Myles Garrett perfectly. Production at Texas A&M, it wasn't very good. I get it. And honestly, I don't think Carolina's going to go Shamar Stewart. Dan Morgan said that he's not going to be targeting guys that aren't putting up production. I think that cancels out Michael Williams. I think that cancels out Shamar Stewart. But again, the raw talent doesn't lie of Shamar Stewart. Now, love the Emeka Egbuka. I think Emeka Egbuka is a plug and play ready type wide receiver. I think Luther Burden is as well. Matthew Golden just reminds me another Xavier Worthy all over again. So you could plug and play him. T-Mac, I think, is a plug and play too, but I just don't think he's the right fit for Carolina. That's just me personally. I think that you need guys who can create more separation than guys who are basically jump ball merchants. That's just me personally. Appreciate the comment, McMillan. Jesse with that $4.99 donation. Shout out to Jesse, man. W's in the chat for Jesse. Appreciate you, Jesse, with that $4.99. Love the stream, man. Billy Bowman has to be my favorite steal of the draft in the third or fourth round. I would say Billy Bowman will fall to the fourth, Jesse. I think he'll fall to the fourth. Shout out to Jesse with that $4.99. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Sorry for repeating. Oh, yeah, I got that. Stewart at 8 is such a Jazz pick. Who knows? Solid. I mean, I can see the Jags. We all know that the Jags is one of those teams that always ends up reaching for someone or ends up picking someone out of the ordinary. Out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? Miles Garrett at Texas A&M was all world. Stewart, same school, wasn't even all city. I get it, Randall. I get it. Which do you prefer, potential or production? Well, Vietnam, I mean, couldn't you say that the potential and production kind of mix with both? I mean, they're kind of the same thing, no? They're kind of the same thing. See, for me, I see the side. I think both sides I see. I get the side of potential, right? I also get the side of production. And if so, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, traits or production. That's fair. I see again, I think that when I know Josh is all about production and okay, traits or production. I think that's a great. And honestly, shout out to Vietnam with that $1.99, man. Appreciate you coming through with that question. That's a great question, by the way. Great question. Love it. Appreciate that $1.99 donation. All right, so for me in the NFL, when it comes looking at this draft, looking at traits, right? So traits, you're looking at Shamar Stewart, for example. If you're picking based off of traits, let's say we're picking edge rusher. If you're picking off of traits alone in the measurables, which kind of translate to potential as well. So Shamar Stewart, traits, measurables, and potential. I would say all go into the same category. I would say that, if you don't agree, let me know. But I think that traits, potential, measurables are all in the same category. No? No? So this is where then you got production. So if let's say we were at 8 and you're going with the edge rusher based off of traits, you're picking Shamar Stewart. If you're going off of production, and this is me and my personal opinion, you're going based off of Mike Green. You're picking Mike Green. Sorry. If we're picking an edge rusher and you're going based off of traits alone and raw talent, you are picking Shamar Stewart because his measurables match up to Shamar Stewart. If you're going based off of production, you are picking Mike Green, ladies and gentlemen. I don't give a damn what anybody else thinks about Jalen Walker. You're taking Mike Green's production over Jalen Walker's production. You can't tell me I'm wrong. Go look at both players. And you tell me who had more production. It's Mike Green all day. And if you want to go watch some game film of Mike Green to prove that production, go watch him against Ohio State, which is an NFL offensive line. Forget about all the narratives of Mike Green off the field issues. Forget about that he went to Marshall. Listen, you at number 8, I would say Abdul Carter, but Abdul Carter is not going to be there. Abdul Carter is not going to be at 8. I don't see him falling. I don't see him. I don't see him falling. Big Walt with that $4 donation, man. I appreciate you, brother. That is such. I appreciate that, man. God bless you. With that. Appreciate that. Okay, I have a strange feeling Mike Vrabel isn't going to be able to resist taking Genty at 4 after having King Henry. That's why I could see him trailing back with the Panthers, hoping he falls to 8. I don't know, man. I could see Mike Vrabel taking Abdul Carter at 3 because I think that I just think that we know the Tennessee is going to go Cam Ward. I think Cleveland is going to try to take Travis Hunter. Here's the thing I think Cleveland's going to do, ladies and gentlemen. I think Cleveland's going to try to take Travis Hunter. I think Cleveland's going to try to take Travis Hunter, and then they're going to try to trade back in the first round. And if somehow Shedeur Sanders falls down to the top 20, I can see Cleveland trading back in to go get him. So then they have Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. That's just me. That's just me. I don't think right Raheem not Raheem Mostert. He's got Stevenson and he's got Antonio Gibson. So I don't know if running back is the biggest need there for them. If anything, it's getting Drake May another wide receiver. They may go T-Mac at 3 to get Drake May his true number 1. I think it's more for the Patriots. It's between T-Mac or Abdul Carter, in my opinion. I think Ashton Genty is more likely to go to the Raiders because of the Marshawn Lynch factor that Pete Carroll had in Seattle. And he may feel that Genty is that Marshawn Lynch for him there with the Raiders now. That's just my opinion. Allowing the Panthers to get Abdul Carter. I maybe. I see where I like where your mind's at for sure. I wish that was the case, but I would love to get Jalen Noel or Noel in the second round. He's my favorite player in this draft. He's one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft. I think that you talk about a guy who had some production. You talk about a guy who can create separation. You talk about a guy who can do. When you look at Jalen Noel's tape, man, he really can kind of just do it all. But he really reminds me perfectly of an Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I would love to get Jalen Noel in the second round for sure. Not possibly. Yes, sir. Possibly. I will do my best, my friend. I promise. Walker to the Pats or the Raiders is a rumor. Interesting. Noel would be a great Thielen replacement for sure. No, Noel and Walker are my guys. T. Thompson coming in. What's up, T. Thompson? Good evening. Again, by the way, guys, we got over 45 people watching. Make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button wherever you may be, wherever you may be watching. Also, I hope everyone had a happy Easter Sunday. I said that at the beginning of the show, but again, I really do. I hope everyone had a great Easter Sunday with your friends and family. All right. What's up, Zach? Appreciate you joining. Sorry I'm late. No, you're good, brother. You're good. Broski Bear, what's good, man? Broski, where are the Bears going? Are they trading up? They staying at 10? Or are they trading back? I wish I lived close enough to come to a game. I live 3 hours away, so I make it to a couple of games a year. At least I try to. Normally like 2 or 3. What's up, Sean? Appreciate you, man. All right, let's get into the other biggest need. So we've already talked about the first biggest need, the edge rusher. Second biggest need, we also talked about being the safety position. Let's dive into this wide receiver position. Okay, this whole situation. Because I'm not going to lie to you, this group, it's not bad. There's a lot of potential, in my opinion. It's just not good enough, in my opinion. All right. And I don't care what Dan Morgan or head coach Dave Canales say about this. Okay. I don't care what they say about being happy with the current roster. They are trying to blow smoke up our asses, in my opinion. Honestly, I think that they're full of shit if they think that this wide receiver room is somehow like playoff ready. I think there's a lot of potential. Let me just say this. Adam Thielen, cool, but the guy's 35. He's on the tail end of his career. And if he's your wide receiver one, you're in trouble. Then there's Jalen Coker, Xavier Legette, David Moore. None of these guys are your answers right now. Can Xavier Legette become your potential number one? Possibly. Could Jalen Coker end up being your number one? Possibly. They both have shown flashes of potential. But you can't put this group up against an NFC South best receivers and expect to win battles week after week. You remember this. I'll say this. The Panthers, here's a stat for you. Panthers were 30th in yards per attempt last season. 30 yards per attempt last season. That's a bit embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to be that guy. We got to keep this shit real, though, man. We got to be real with ourselves. Carolina's offensive identity, I still think it's in a flux. And for Bryce Young to develop into this franchise quarterback that we're hoping he can be, he's got to need some weapons. I think that if you get a true number one and let's say you had a true number one and it was still Thielen, it was still Coker, it was still Legette, and it was still David Moore. Okay. Then I could get behind it. Okay. And it doesn't matter who the true number one wide receiver is, but a legitimate dynamic weapon who can separate defenders, create yards after the catch, can stretch the field, someone who can open up the middle of the field. Because why? Why do I keep saying open up the middle field? Where does Bryce Young like to throw the ball? He likes to throw it over the middle of the field. Now he had to make some adjustments because every time he threw it over the middle of the field, guess what happened? He got picked off. Okay. Well, Broski, if the Panthers really do draft Tyler Warren, he's a guy that will open up the middle of the field. I think that's a major curveball. Not really what I want them to go. I might have to sleep on it before I give my honest opinion if they do that, Broski, but I'm not too sure. Zach comes in and says his dream scenario is to trade back, still draft Jalen Warren, then use some picks. We trade up for Nick Amonowori and we still draft Jalen Noel. That's a bit much to ask for, though. Zach, if we somehow do that and pull that off, I would nut in my pants. I'll just be honest. I'm just being honest. If that dream scenario, I mean, that is a dream scenario. I'm just being honest. In the words of the Chainsmokers, I'm just being honest. That's one hell of a scenario. Might have to change my shorts after day 1 and day 2 of the NFL draft. But again, You need a guy like if we're talking about the wide receiver though, and we're looking at draft pick guys. I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think T Mac is the best fit for Carolina. I just don't. I think he's a ball merchant. Yes, a big time red zone guy, but I think he's a ball merchant. I don't think he's the best separator. I think the best fit would be a Luther Burden, a Mecca Ibuka, or even a Matthew Golden. There's speed and talent at the wide receiver position in this draft. You definitely need to pull the trigger. I think even Jalen Knowles a better fit. I even possibly would say his counterpartner Jaden Higgins is a better fit. The Panthers keep running the same old route trees with this a 35-year-old Adam Thielen, and you just expect to compete in this offense that's getting faster and more explosive every season. Like, you got to get a guy who's a playmaker. Hell, get him 2 if you can. At very least, get a legitimate weapon who moves the chains, makes defensive. Say, man, we might need to double team that guy. You want to make those defenses sweat when that guy steps on the field. All right, last here in a second. Again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, help support the channel in any way, shape, or form by just liking, subscribing. Make sure you click that post notifications bell. Also, if you want to take it an extra mile, feel free to send a Cash App or Venmo. I posted it up in the it's pinned up in the chat. So again, I would greatly appreciate that. If you guys did do that, cool. If you didn't, no big deal. I'm not begging for money. I'm just saying it definitely would help out. That's all. Also, you can also send a super chat. We do have a live goal today that also helps us out tremendously. Okay. So I really appreciate you guys and every one of you joining the live stream. All right. So my next position of need that I'm definitely going to get into here is the corners. If we're looking at this from a standpoint, I think the corners is another big position that a lot of people think. Now, again, we don't get me wrong. We all know J.C. Horn is a stud. The guy's one of the best young corners in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. No question, especially when he's healthy. And I know he's only been healthy for 1 full season, but we got the full effect of J.C. Horn. Now, you can't build a secondary just on one guy. The Panthers cannot get into 2025 hoping that Horn is going to stay healthy for another 17 games. Now, I'm banking on that. I think he will, but we all know that how the story goes. I understand that Mike Jackson is a decent CB2. I think he's more serviceable. Okay. But you don't have enough depth there. Again, we all know that Charles Smith Wade is still developing, but he's still a question mark. I think you need to find someone that provides solid depth on the outside. They need serious competition in that nickel position. The draft is full of talent corners. This is a position that Carolina can't afford to ignore. Whether it's a rookie who comes in, starts immediately, or someone who can compete for that spot, provide that depth. They need more than they have now. You can never have enough good corners in the NFL. This is a pass catching league, man. We cannot sit there and ignore the corner position. So I gave you my positions of need. Edge 1, safety 2, wide receiver 3, corner Probably after that, D-line. Probably after that, linebacker. Or you could flip-flop linebacker or defensive line. But look, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we have 9 picks. And you just cannot fuck this up. Carolina's rebuild. We are in this rebuild mode, and I get it. This is a grind can take years. If Morgan and Canals can do their jobs right, Carolina can draft and kickstart the process of getting this team, can get this team back to that playoff contention that we all want. But they have to get it right, I think, on the positions that we just talked about tonight. It's not about just about adding depth. It's about getting difference makers. It's time to speak up, man. Here's the thing. I want you guys to speak up right now, Panthers fans. It's your time to speak up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you want to see at number 8? Who would you target later in the draft? Okay, make sure you guys hit that like button if you're fired up about the draft. Subscribe, continue to tune in for more coverage. All right. But let's get into some other stuff. Because I personally think that Carolina is plotting something big. Even though we just talked about the 8th position and all that stuff, I think they're plotting something big. Shout out to Vietnam with that $1.99 donation. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
Another one. Another one.
Another one. Shout out to Vietnam with that one. Jesse comes in and says Mike Green at 8, Trey Amos in the 2nd. That's crazy. It's crazy. You've got big dreams. They're moving up to 3. Duh, just kidding. But maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel like the Panthers are plotting something big, ladies and gentlemen. And I just think trading down, I just think right now, like trading down, it might be their plan. I do. I think trading down might be their plan. I think this team is honestly might be on the verge to absolutely pulling off the smartest and most necessary move in this whole entire draft cycle. We are not contenders. We are not in position to be considered contenders. Okay? I mean, here's the thing. Dan Morgan, can we all agree to this, guys, in the chat? I love that. See the chat just blow up. See, when the chat blows up and I can't keep up with it, that means you guys are just killing it. And I love it. All right. Dan Morgan, who, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, has already shown, can we be honest here? Has already shown more transparency and grit in the last few months than Scott Fitterer managed in a few years. I think Dan Morgan is playing this thing like a poker shark. I think that there might be even another reason why that they're hyping up Jalen Walker is because they want somebody to reach for him. You remember like when Carolina, remember when we heard that rumor that the Texans didn't like CJ Stroud because of his IQ test? Now I'm just being a conspiracy theorist here with this. But think about it. Could Carolina be hyping this whole thing around Jalen Walker? So maybe a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars goes and gets him so someone else could fall to them at 8? Do you think Carolina could be hyping up any of these draft picks? Maybe besides Jalen Walker. Because right now it seems like Jalen Walker is the guy that they are really hyping up. And they've been really vocal about. Could it be a possibility that they're hyping up these guys so that a team goes and gets them? Just the same way, like the Texans said, they didn't like CJ Stroud because of his IQ score. Nervous says, do you really think the staff is playing 4D chess? I don't know, man. I hope so. I hope we're playing chess and not checkers, man. Again, at the end of the day, it's about being the eyes on the prize. It's about face unreadable. Make no mistake. I really do think that Dan Morgan is here to wheel and deal. I mean, the move he's setting up right now with everything he's already done. I mean, a trade down from number 8. Now, if you're new here, you're probably thinking to yourself, wait, trade down? Isn't that what rebuilding teams avoid? Don't you want to grab a star at number 8? And sure, here's the thing. That's the Madden logic. But in real life roster building, this move makes all the damn sense in the world. And tonight, right now, let's break it down. Here's the thing. Step 1 in this whole trade down scenario. Listen to me when I say this. I'm going to say 2 words. Know thyself. Know thyself. What does that mean? I think Dan Morgan has taken a cold, hard look at this roster, and what he sees is exactly what we all see. We were just looking at it. Do I need to bring it back up? Do I need to bring that roster back up? He sees exactly what we see. A team that's halfway through a teardown and nowhere near a complete product. The Panthers have 9 draft picks going into this draft. It does sound decent on paper, don't get me wrong. But once you look at what they really need to be competitive again, you realize 9 picks really isn't enough. Crazy thing is the offensive line, surprisingly solid. I'll give them that, but everything else, it's either thin, it was either aging, or it's just painful, underwhelming. Wide receiver room, it's basically Adam Thielen and a couple of potential guys. Really, 2. The defensive front, you've got Derek Brown. Brian Burns is gone again. So you're talking about role players and question marks. Secondary, Matt, it's serviceable at best. You don't win in this league again with serviceable. You win with what? Dogs, ladies and gentlemen. We need more dogs. Like the guy from Coastal Carolina. Y'all remember him? We need more dogs. Not no more cats, no more meows. That's what he said. I'll have to pull up that video for you one day. Even if you haven't seen that video from back in the day, it's awesome. So what do you think? So what do you do when your roster looks like that? You don't swing for a solo home run. You hit doubles, you hit triples. You get volume. You multiply your chances. That's what trading down accomplishes. Step 2 in this situation, ladies and gentlemen. The market. Listen when I say this. Step 2, because we already step 1. Step 1 was know thyself. That's what we just broke down. Step 2, we're in step 2. Follow me now. Follow me. The market is right for a move. What do I mean by that? Let's talk timing. Let's talk timing, ladies and gentlemen, because context matters. Context matters. This year's draft class, it's weird to me because there's like one lock at the top. Let's be honest. The one lock at the top, it's Cam Ward. Who's likely going number 1 overall to Tennessee. And after that, it's chaos. Because there's no Trevor Lawrence, there's no Joe Burrow. It's a buffet of maybe. Shedeur Sanders, talented, but raw. Jalen Milroe, athletic as hell, but inconsistent. Jackson Dart, Tyler Show, or Shao, or however you pronounce his name. You get the idea. I mean, I think teams are going to panic, especially quarterback needy teams. I really do. And then who do you got? You got to think about this, guys. Who's sitting at number 9 behind us? The Saints. That's a problem for anyone who's trying to snag a quarterback because New Orleans is absolutely in the market for a quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. Derek Carr's health is sketchy as fuck right now. We know that. His tape is declining. There's no long-term solution behind him. No offense to my guy over there, Spencer Rattler. All right, Gamecock for life. But damn, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Quarterback needy teams, it's going to happen. Someone's going to reach. Someone's going to take a stretch. Someone is going to take a risk. They are going to panic. It happens every single year. So here's the thing. So if you're a team in the teens or early 20s, you fall in love with a quarterback, or you're just scared New Orleans might. To me, it makes a ton of sense to call the Panthers and say, hey, let's make a deal. That's the leverage play. That's the trap Morgan quietly is going to try to set up. And guess what? The league, there's already league insiders who are already onto this. Matt Miller from ESPN, Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network are both recorded saying that Carolina is a prime trade down candidate. I mean, Daniel Jeremiah, if you haven't seen it, he came out and flat out said it. A lot of people expect them to try and get out of that spot. Here's step 3 for you. Step 3. What do they actually want? What do the Carolina Panthers actually want? Let's talk needs. We just talked about a couple of them, but let's dive into it real quick. What is going to drive this entire strategy to trade down? Again, the Panthers don't need a superstar. They need 5 or 6 above average starters who can grow into this foundational pieces. What do they want? Day 2 picks? Second and third rounders? That's where the heart of this class is. Again, the draft is loaded with defensive talent, receivers, hybrid DBs. And that's in that day 2 range. You don't need to pick at 8 to get immediate impact players if you play your board right. Jalen Knoll. Okay. Kevin Winston Jr. TJ Sanders. Princely, Umana Million. Those are all guys who are going to be floating around day 2. That's where you build a roster. That's not a hype video. Now, sure, people are penciling in Jalen Walker at number 8. And listen, I like Walker. The dude can fly, great motor. He's versatile. But let's not kid ourselves. He's a linebacker. That's not yes, he can play off the edge too. But there's a guy in Alabama who has the same skill set who I think is more explosive. I think Jahad Campbell is better than Jalen Walker, but nobody else sees it. But I've watched both tapes and I'm breaking down both tapes, and Jalen Walker's the better, or Jahad Campbell is the better player. He's the better athlete. He's the faster and more powerful athlete as well, who can go sideline to sideline and play off the edge and can play coverage. Jahad Campbell is a better player than Jalen Walker, and that's just my opinion. I've watched both tapes and I've broken both down. Now, Jahad Campbell is for sure linebacker 1 in this draft class. Linebacker, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a premium position in today's NFL. You really don't build off, and that's the thing. You don't really build around an off-ball linebacker at number 8 unless you think he's the second coming of Fred Warner. I'm just not sure that Jalen Walker is that guy yet. Everybody thinks he is. He's a tweener. And I hate that label. I think with Jalen Walker, I think his ceiling from an outside edge rusher is Hassan Reddick. But it took Hassan Reddick a couple years to really become a double-digit sack guy. I think his floor, I'm right there with you too, Nervish. I could also I see the floor for him as being a Yannick Ngakoue, Jalen Walker. From an outside. If we're talking about inside, he could be a Frankie Louvu 2.0, but it took Frankie Louvu 4 years to really show some production. But here's step 4 for me. The twist here's step 4 for me. There's a twist. There's always a twist. Could they trade up? Now, this is where things get spicy. And earlier this week, I saw that Pro Football Talk floated something wild, and the idea that Carolina might trade up with the Giants at 3. Why? Possibly to land Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Now Travis Hunter, that's a unicorn, a two-way freak. He's got legit Charles Woodson potential if you develop him right. Abdul Carter, edge monster, pure chaos engine. So I get the logic, but is it likely that they'd trade up? Probably not. It'd be a bold-ass move for a team that just spent an entire offseason preaching patience and substantial growth. Trading up costs you capital. Trading down, again, gets you the building blocks of a roster. And Morgan's not trying to sell tickets, man. He's trying to build a foundation. That means down, not up. So my final take on this final game plan, in my opinion, is this is not weakness. This is strategy. Okay. So here's the bottom line, Panthers fans, and all you guys in the chat, and all you NFL junkies in general. If the Panthers trade down at 8, that's not waving the flag. Okay. That's not playing scared. That's Dan Morgan saying, hey, we know exactly where we're at. And we're not fixing this with a Band-Aid. We're doing surgery here. It's about stacking that draft. Stacking that draft capital, hitting on the right guys, and creating a 53-man roster that can actually hang with the Bucks, the Saints, the Falcons. Not just about surviving the schedule. Dan Morgan's job isn't to win headlines this April. His job is to make sure that his team is the fucking punchline come November. Drop your thoughts in the chat. If you were Dan Morgan, are you trading down? Who's a must-have target in the second round if they make that move? And hell, if they stay at 8, who's your pick? Sound off in the comments. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts. I think here's my thing. If I'm Dan Morgan, I'm trading down. Plain and simple, I'm trading down. I think a person who's a must-have target in the second round for me, it's between a couple guys, depending on how the board falls personally. Now, when we get to the second round, yep, keep pounded. The Denver is interesting. Pittsburgh's interesting. I would say the Rams are an interesting one. Seattle's an interesting one. I mean, really, I would say if I'm going from top to bottom, I would say Dallas is probably might be interested to move up. I can also see Miami being interested to move up. Colts might maybe of interest to move up. Cincy, Seattle, Pittsburgh, the Rams, Denver's also, but Denver has actually came out and said they're interested. But it's interesting. But if I were to trade down, if I was Dan Morgan, we were to trade down, just depends where I'm at. It's just kind of like what Keep Pounding said. If you're trading down to a certain position, this might be your guy to go get. Right? Who's a must-have target in the second round? Let's say, I mean, for me, my top guys in the second round is Carson Schwarzenegger, Jalen Noel, Kevin Winston Jr. Also like Omar Norman Lott out of Tennessee, defensive lineman. TJ Sanders out of South Carolina is interesting as well in the second round. If we stay at 8, for me, it's between, I mean, it depends if Mason Graham falls. If Mason Graham falls there, I mean, the guy's a plug and play. If I'm going based off of production, it's Mike Green for me for edge. I mean, I just don't think Jalen Walker is as good as everybody thinks he is. I mean, I keep repeating myself. I think Jahad Campbell is better. Me personally, I've watched his tape. I've broken both of their tapes down. I have 5 sets of tape on both of their game films. And Jahad Campbell jumps out to me more than Jalen Walker. That's the same, and he's the same type of linebacker, but nobody wants to realize that. The versatility is there in Jahad Campbell. I like Braden Swinson too. I like Braden Swinson as well. I honestly think that the Saints are in the market for a quarterback. I really do. I really do. I mean, with the whole Derek Carr situation, it makes a lot of sense in my opinion. Because you're going to tell me that the Saints are going to rock with Spencer Rattler the whole year? Broski, wrong. Sorry, bud. I've broken down Jahad Campbell, and he's the same type of tweener as Walker is. Just more explosive, faster, bigger, stronger, good in coverage. But I really don't want either one of them at 8. Now, if I trade back, sure. If one of them are there. I honestly probably would take Donovan Ezeruku on both of Jalen Walker and Jahad Campbell. Production. Mike Green, production. JPJ, production. JPJ still a first round talent to me. He's just not my top guy anymore. Freakish athlete, but the short arms issue for me. I know that sooner or later, the JPJ's arm issues. Now, unless he just gets taller and gets a little bit more lankier, which he can. I just don't think he's the arm issue is going to come to. It's going to be a problem. JPJ's has below average arm length, and that's going to be a problem. But hopefully grows out of it. I mean, he can still grow and whatever. I mean, that happens. Dolphins trade back looks interesting too. Yeah. It's a lot of them are interesting. But again, here's the thing. I want to be perfectly clear. You trading back into the top 15, you're not going to get a future first round pick. You trade in the top 20, you'll get a future first round pick. On top of that, person's first. Now, are you going to get a day 2 pick on top of that? Maybe. But I wouldn't guarantee it. So, but if I'm staying at 8, I think the best trade down spot, honestly, is probably between Cincy and Seattle. I like that spot a lot more. Indy, you probably could throw into that equation as well. But then after that, it would, it's either, I mean, you trade down to Pittsburgh or the Los Angeles Rams, you're going to get a bigger haul of picks, a way bigger haul of picks and futures. Right. So it's interesting. It's interesting, but I think the smartest move and the final game plan for me is trade down. If you stay put at 8, you take Mike Green. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not, again, I'm going based off of production. Again, don't get me wrong. Traits and potential measurables are interesting. I don't say go away from them, because those guys can come now. But I think those guys that showed lack of production but have great measurables, have great potential, have great raw traits, a physical athlete or a freakish athlete, they're just not guys you pick at the top 10. They're not plug and play players immediately. They're guys that definitely need some refining on techniques and development. So that's just me, man. So again, drop your thoughts and comments. Who do you want to see at 8? Who would you target later in the draft? Hit that like button. If you're fired up about the draft, subscribe for more coverage. You'll see. Also, drop your thoughts. If you were Dan Morgan, are you trading down? Who's a must target in the second round if they make that move? Hell, if they stay at 8, who's your pick? But again, hit that like button if you're fired up about the draft. Subscribe for more coverage. I'll see you next time, man. It's we've been on here for about an hour and a half. I'm going to be breaking down Panthers should draft Clay at 8, to be their next GM. But we've got some more pre-draft chaos to go over. I'm going to do my final mock draft. That's what we're going to do tomorrow night. Final mock draft. Done. No more. No more. And then I got a special episode for you guys on Wednesday. Don't forget Thursday night, live stream watch party. Going to open up the panel to you guys. Going to open up the stream to you guys to come in and come through and kind of give your thoughts as we go through day 1. But yeah, appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss any new content. Also, make sure you guys become a member today. Shout out to all the people that sent donations to the channel tonight, like Kendall, Jesse, Vietnam, Big Walt. Shout out to all you guys tonight. Appreciate all your love and support with those donations to the channel. It goes a very long way, and it definitely doesn't go unnoticed. But yeah, man. So make sure y'all come through the stream tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and of course Thursday. And we'll also be live day 2. All right, I'll also be live day 2 of the draft. Okay. And then I don't know if I'm going to do day 3 yet, because it's a long day, man. I mean, we're talking about like 8 hours of streaming. So I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking about it. I'm sitting on it right now, but definitely day 1 and day 2. So again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. And again, as always, guys, y'all know what to do. I'm out of here. Love you guys. Be safe. Keep pounding. Peace.